Hello YouTube, the Blind Wizard here, and this will be a first movie reaction. That is not the norm for me, because, you know, I'm a blind wizard. I go into things blind for a authentic reaction, but because of Thanksgiving coming up, Joey wanted me to watch this movie, Freebirds, because it's a cult classic for Thanksgiving, and I gotta get a reaction out for this movie. Okay? There's not much else I have to say. It's Owen Wilson as a turkey. This guy right here is probably the funniest part of this whole movie. It's about turkeys. They go back in time to the first Thanksgiving to get turkeys off the menu. You know, the line everyone repeats because it's so iconic. Not much else I need to say on that. So, when we return, it'll be the post-movie discussion, even though there's not going to be much to discuss. And abracadabra, alakazam. Alright, it's time for the post-movie discussion. Even though there's not much to talk about, I will say, this film, man, oh man, do I love revisiting it every year. And then I always say every year I reach that scene. I reach the death of Broadbeak. And I'm like, why am I doing this to myself, watching this every year? But I'm like, it's so worth it. That one scene aside, though, this movie is very funny. And of course, it's confusing because of the way the time travel is presented, but still, what an outstanding film to just have a laugh at Thanksgiving. But it has a message. Think of it this way. What better way to deliver a message about the holidays than from an animal who's usually on the menu of said holiday? How did Reggie view Thanksgiving at the beginning of the film? He viewed it as a feast with food. And he was terrified of it because, you know, he's on the menu. He didn't look at the holiday as anything but a terrifying day to be a turkey. But by the end of the film, when they're no longer eating turkeys for Thanksgiving, and Reggie even says it, he could see the holidays for what they were. A time to share, a time to get together, a time to enjoy each other's company. You know? Not just the food. And so I praise the movie for being as wacky and funny as it is, for delivering a very simple message about the holidays that can be used for any holiday, not just Thanksgiving. The voice performances, Owen Wilson as a turkey, never gonna get old. Love it. Reggie, great. Jake, Woody Harrelson. I don't think I've ever heard him in another movie, and if I've just not seen any of his movies, I apologize. It's just that very good performance, very funny, zany lines that he says as Jake. So many of them are one-liners. I mean, the one that sells this movie for people is the one he does where he's dramatic and he's like, "That's right, we're going back in time to the first Thanksgiving to get turkeys off the menu." And, you know, that's the line that gets made into a GIF, and, you know, everybody has seen it. It's so good, though. Amy Poehler as Jenny. Very common role for her. I've seen her in quite a few things, actually. I just can't remember off the top of my head. I've heard her voice before. It's a very standard voice performance, especially, but it was good. Broadbeak was very good. Most of the other voices in this movie were just good. The guy, whoever had the idea to turn Miles Standish into a villain from the turkey's perspective is just so good. That was a brilliant idea. I don't know about the ending, though, of him getting blasted into the time stream? What does that necessarily mean? But, you know, that was the way of getting him out of the picture without necessarily killing him, so that we would have a better time negotiating with the humans and getting the turkeys to not be eaten. And then, the great turkey is Reggie. Ooh. But if you think about it, Jake had to then get Reggie from Camp David, which means he was always destined to become the pardoned turkey because of, timeline rules, meaning to go back in time and give Jake his destiny. Reggie would have to survive long enough to be the pardoned turkey at Camp David. So if you think about it, him getting thrown to the wolves, as it would, was actually his saving grace. But then again, because the timeline has already changed so much because turkeys aren't eaten for Thanksgiving, who even knows how that went anymore? Can you really, track it back? Because there's also another situation we have to account for. 3 future Reggies interfered with their past to let the youngest of the Reggies go, you're an idiot, you should go back there, you had a family, you're the great turkey. But maybe I'm looking way too into this, but then again, that's kind of my job. I overanalyze things because I'm too used to, looking into stories that have way more elements going on than just turkeys go back in time to get themselves off a Thanksgiving dinner. But hey, it's still an enjoyable guilty pleasure of mine, so thank you all so much for enjoying this. Hope you have a happy Thanksgiving. Hit the like button, subscribe, share the video with a friend, and I will see you all in the next one. Abracadabra. Goodbye.